All right, everyone. Thank you for coming today. Now, on June 10th of 2025, it was reported to the Palmer Township Police Department that Enci Wu, also known as Aubrey, was a runaway child, and the report was made by her parents, who reported to Palmer Township that there had been some concerns by them with regard to emotional and behavioral issues with Enci, and that there was also tension in the house with regard to parental restrictions placed on Enci, and that was the reason why they believed that she left the house. Now, that was over 90 days ago. Yesterday, April 14th, local law enforcement from Jasper, Georgia, and Jasper is a small town about 60 miles north of Atlanta, has about 4,000 people in it, and it's in between Atlanta and the border of Tennessee. The Jasper, Georgia authorities located Enci and had Enci in their custody. Apparently, Enci was without any physical injuries and needed no medical attention. And as a result of Georgia taking Enci into custody, there would have to be a determination made for how she would be returned to Pennsylvania. We are also aware from the reports that Enci had been residing for a period of time in Georgia, and that she had established some relationships with individuals. And as a result, the Georgia authorities are still investigating the circumstances of Enci residing in Georgia and the quality of the relationships she had. At this point, we're not aware that any charges have been filed in Georgia, but that investigation is also ongoing. Now, Enci remains in Georgia today under the care and custody of Georgia Child Protective Services. We are not directly involved in the custodial transfer, but let's talk a little bit about what's going to happen with regard to Enci. Both Pennsylvania and Georgia are members of the Interstate Compact for the Transfer of Juveniles, which requires that the transfer of Enci's custody, while under the supervision of the legal authorities in Georgia, must be to Pennsylvania's Department of Human Services, the Office of Children, Youth, and Families. Ultimately, once Georgia returns Enci to Pennsylvania, Department of Human Services will then transfer her to Northampton County, and her custody will be with Northampton County Children and Youth, and then they'll have to conduct their own evaluation and make a determination as to whether Enci can be released, or because of safety concerns or other issues, that the matter may have to be referred to Northampton County Juvenile Court. That is outside law enforcement's jurisdiction and involvement. We do not participate in that process. Now, we make this announcement because it is apparently of great public interest with regard to this young lady. We are aware there's been a lot of discussion, both in media and social media. However, this announcement, although we're relieved, is not celebratory because there's a lot in front of us yet that needs to be done. But everyone here in this room, along with her family, are relieved that Enci is without injury right now. Now, why is the district attorney involved in a runaway case? Generally, this is not a criminal matter. We were aware, like many people were in the community, as a result of social media activity, that there was some tension between Enci's family and Palmer Township. And we met with Palmer Township in the beginning of March to discuss the possibility of providing some support. And Palmer Township invited us to participate with them. But this investigation has been Palmer Township's investigation and will continue to do so. What we did was we did assign our chief county detective Our chief county detective is a member of an FBI task force, and he was able to bring to bear his contacts. And we had a wide array of participation of both local and national law enforcement agencies helping us. I know, at least from my office, that many hours went into this case by our chief detective, Bradford Jones, and also with the support of our first assistant, Bob Iyer. So, besides Palmer Township and our office, the Pennsylvania State Police, the FBI, Homeland Security, and the Jasper Police Department in Georgia have been very active and important entities involved in this matter. At this time, no charges are currently contemplated. However, we are aware, and we've been aware, of numerous allegations with regard to alleged criminal or concerning behavior. And social media, there were allegations discussing human trafficking, and there were references to past relationships and also concerns about what present relationships Enci has. But at this point in time, all the allegations are currently under investigation, and we have no comment with regard to where we are with those cases. Right now, I want to identify and thank Palmer Township Police Department, because this has been a hectic, stressful 90 days as they devoted significant resources to locating Enci, and now, as a result of this hard work, she will be returning home to the Lehigh Valley without injury. So we have here Captain Wayne Smith. I'm sorry, Chief Wayne Smith, Captain Fossomali, Detective Strong, and Sergeant Unangs. Brad Jones is all the way to my far right, and Mr. Iyer is on my left. As I said before, that the investigations remain. If there are any questions, we'll field them now. I don't believe that anyone wants to make an additional statement. Is that correct?
No, sir. I believe you covered everything.
Yes.
It's my understanding that she was found after making a TikTok video. Can you explain a little bit about, if you can, about that?
Well, I don't know that that's the reason why she was found. I believe there may have been cooperation or tips presented to law enforcement, and we're aware that she's been active on social media for a period of time. So there were videos on social media and other postings by her over the last days, but I believe cooperation from the community in Jasper resulted in the authorities finding Enci.
Someone recognized her, I guess?
I believe so, okay. Yes.
How'd you wind up in Georgia?
Well, that's an important question, and I think only Enci can answer that.
Okay.
Sorry, the person she was with, are there any potential charges coming?
Well, we understand that Georgia is actively looking into what happened, and they have been interviewing various, I don't want to say people of concern, but at this point, I don't believe that charges have been filed. At least we have not been notified that charges are filed.
Can you tell us, was it a home? Was there a family living there? Who was she staying?
Well, according to the reports, she may have been moving around, and she established relationships with several people. So we couldn't say that she had a fixed residence. I believe she was temporarily moving around in Jasper at the time.
These aren't family members, though.
Not family members, no.
Her parents know that she's safe and everything?
Yeah. Yes.
Is there any reason why they're not here?
Well,
because of their, I guess you kind of made clear.
We received notice. I believe, as a matter of fact, the family has retained a lawyer to represent, and they were aware of the press conference.
Okay. I mean, you suggested there may have been trouble at home, I guess, and
Well, trouble at home, there was tension at home
right,
that caused the runaway.
right.
And according to the parents, they believe that the restrictions they placed on Enci may have been the triggering cause for the runaway. But that's the self-report from the parents.
You can't give us any more detail on what happened there.
Well, Enci deserves privacy, but I can say, because I think it's pretty clear from the parents' reports, that they believe there were emotional and behavioral issues that required their attention. And that's why they placed restrictions on her activity.
Can you get any detail on the house, the people that were living there? Were they adults? Was it a community type home? Was it? I'm trying to
If
figure
I
out.
pull out my cell phone, I think I would tell you that I first got notice of this at 2 in the morning. All right, so this is very recent right now, and we haven't been able to exchange a lot of information with the Georgia authorities.
Were there adults in the house where she was found?
From what I understand, there are several adults who have been persons of interest that the Georgia authorities have been interviewing or having contact with at least.
Do we know what she was doing in these 90 days? Any idea if she was involved in any criminal activity, or was she just pursuing another way of living somewhere else?
We, at this point, don't have any information, but from just tangential information that we have, we believe that Nancy is very intelligent and very sophisticated and was careful to conceal her whereabouts.
Except for posting things on social media.
Well, I think she felt safe that the posting did not identify her directly by the way she looked. I mean, from what I understand, she looks different. I believe she has blonde hair. Is that correct? Yeah.
Right. So she altered her appearance.
From what we understand.
I have a question.
Yes.
With the morning call. Is there any concern that there's a larger issue here with human trafficking because we're going from Pennsylvania, Lehigh Valley to Tennessee? And I'll just leave it at that.
Well, I will say this, that our investigation, since we've been involved in many different states. So of course, moving children over state lines does involve trafficking. And of course, if there was behavior that involves sexual activity, it would involve trafficking even for adults. At this point in time, there are concerns, but we have no evidence that would suggest that charges will be filed with regard to those concerns anytime in the near future. We need to sit down and have an opportunity to speak with Enci as to what was going on, obviously.
Thank you.
Anything else? Well, thank you very much.
All right, very good, thank you.
Let's appreciate it.
Take care. You too.